Day 300 of the war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza began with the funeral of Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh in Iran. In Israel, protesters blocked morning traffic, demanding a ceasefire and a hostage deal now. It's been 300 days since Hamas crossed the border into Israel on October 7th and launched the deadliest massacre on Jews in the country's history. Some 1,200 people were killed and 250 taken hostage, and today 115 people are still being held captive in Gaza. A ceasefire deal in November 2023 saw the return of 116 hostages, the release of 150 Palestinian prisoners, and less than a week of calm, which quickly fell apart. Israeli rocket attacks in Gaza made headlines around the world, and the government has repeatedly been criticized internationally for not doing enough to protect civilian lives, for targeting Hamas members in supposed safe zones, and for deliberately blocking humanitarian aid to the Strip, something Israel denies. Since the war began, nearly 40,000 Palestinians have been killed, according to the Hamas-run health ministry, with international organizations warning of famine and diseases spreading. According to Israel, some 15,000 of those killed were Hamas combatants. The terror group is widely known for using civilian Palestinians as human shields, hiding in densely populated areas in homes, schools, and hospitals. According to the UN, over 80% of Gaza has been placed under evacuation orders. Meanwhile, in Israel, constant rocket attacks from Iranian-backed Hezbollah militants means 60,000 people have been displaced from their homes in the north of the country, with no idea of when they might be able to return. The war in Gaza has divided the world opinion, with massive pro-Palestinian and anti-Israel protests spreading through universities and streets in the US and Europe, and Western governments criticizing the civilian losses in the war, but standing by Israel's right to defend itself. Countries like Russia and China supporting Hamas, Hezbollah, and their main backer, Iran. While the world focused on Gaza, Israel has been fighting to protect itself on multiple fronts. Against Hamas in Gaza, against near-daily rocket barrages from Hezbollah in the north, against the Houthis, who managed to kill a civilian in Tel Aviv with an explosive-laden drone, and of course against Iran, which in April launched over 300 missiles and drones against Israel in the first direct attack against the country. Thousands of Israelis have taken to the streets in weekly demonstrations, demanding to reach a ceasefire deal that would ensure the return of the hostages, with desperation growing for every passing day. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been criticized for dragging out the war for his own political interests. In the past weeks, it seemed Hamas and Israel were on the brink of an agreement. But then Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh was killed while on a state visit to Iran, an assassination widely attributed to Israel. Tensions in the region are higher than they've been in months, with increasing risk of a large-scale war. On day 300 of the war, it seems there is no end in sight to the conflict.